Good afternoon. It'd be on Monday, February 22nd at 3 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. We're still operating under the Governor's Emergency Order number 12 that allows us to not meet physically. So roll call, Alan Silly,
Present.
Andy Fitch,
Present.
Kathleen DeWolf,
Present.
Fran Newton,
Present.
and Eli Badger is here. We're going to dispense with item number 2 because I haven't sent out any minutes. I will take care of that for our next meeting. As I've said last week, I believe that Health VN would like to be our health officer. I do believe I sent you his email about that. So what is your pleasure?
Do you need a motion?
I think it would be a good idea.
I will be happy to make that motion to appoint him as health officer.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Alan Silly,
Aye.
Andy Fitch,
Aye.
Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Fran Newton,
Aye.
Eli Badger says aye. I will speak to him and we'll get the paperwork down to DHHS.
Do we have to sign it?
I'm going to find out.
Okay.
I
I think we probably do.
And we can figure out a way to do that as soon as we find out what the paperwork is. This is another first for us. Okay. Craig, what have you found out about Ashland Electric?
I see he just sent an email.
Yeah, so I sent an email and I haven't heard back from Vespa yet. With the updated cost. Now, the last email I got from Vespa is that it could be 2 or 3 weeks before they know the exact cost of the metering.
Okay.
So he tells me, and if you guys, did you guys have a chance to over the weekend look over some of the emails that I sent you guys?
Yeah.
And that gives a little background about what he was telling me about the correspondence I've had with him. So I guess the pricing on the meters, he thinks is going to be a little bit better. Now, the pricing on the meters is a little bit higher than Eaton, but the updated quote from Eaton is actually only $600 and change. I don't know, around $600 difference in price. So it went up by $600, so it's kind of insignificant.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. So Eaton's around 300. I still haven't heard back and without sending this actual quote to Vespa. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get apples to apples in this quote, because there's something wrong why their quote is 500 and something and Eaton's 300 and 919 when the annual recurring charges on Eaton is 21,700. So that's what we would pay every month, every year on a yearly basis. And that's just so you guys know, that's a 1 year web hosting thing, you know, where we can actually look at the data we collect on these meters. So Eaton's cost is 21, Vespa's like 16 and change. But according to Vespa, they're still negotiating with a clearer. They haven't completely finalized their, you know, negotiations, I guess, so to speak.
Okay. So we're going to be looking more towards the spring before we're actually going to make a decision.
Well, 3 weeks. Yeah, I guess if you look at 3 weeks, the spring could be here by the time we, you know, make a decision. Absolutely, probably right. Unless you guys want to go with Eaton because they're cheaper, but I can't tell you exactly why yet. There's a $200,000 difference in price.
I'm still curious on how we came up with a number of meters that we've been shown. How
Well,
do we get 200
oh, wait a
commercial
minute.
meters?
So let me, hold on for a second. Did you guys, I guess maybe you didn't see that email. Let me just look here. Did you see on that, let me go back and look, on that quote that I sent you guys? Is there not, if you look at the meter data Excel sheet on that, did you guys get that? It's the Excel sheet that's on there, not the PDF or the presentation. I don't know if did you see that, Eli? Any of you that can open their email?
What's the date of that email, Craig?
The one I just barely sent, Kathleen.
Oh, you mean the brand new one?
If you look at the
Okay.
Excel sheet attached to that,
Okay,
that is our exact, this guy put this, they base that on, this is the spreadsheet for our meters. So I gave that to them. We did a meter survey back, and I'm gonna guess it's December-ish. And this is, our guys did this survey. So that is the correct metering. And you can see it doesn't mean a lot to you, but you can see there's not 200 and, you know, 300, and it doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but these are the different types of meters. So the CL 200s are all residential. He also thinks that there's another 74 that are classified as commercial, but they're the 12S. He said that can probably go as residential, so they'll be a little cheaper. So if you look at, I think the CL 320s, there's 16 of them. So it goes down, it's a lot different than what we gave them before, but these are
yeah.
this is the actual data we have. So we have 1,633 total meters. When the guys read the books, they wrote down the meter type when they wrote the books down. So they got this data for us. So we can consider that being correct. I mean, there might be a discrepancy here and there that, you know.
Is this the right spreadsheet that I have up?
Yep, that's that.
Yeah, what are these classifications? There's no glossary. I can guess that CL 200/2S are residential because of the amount
Yeah.
present, but I mean, you got one, the top part is 135, 145.
Yeah.
I see, you know, that doesn't, what does that mean? What is the classifications?
I'd have to ask somebody else, because you and I are on the same page with that. It doesn't-
Okay, all right, I didn't know if I had missed something in the past.
But that's something I can work on, is putting that together. But that really doesn't matter too much because the cost between the different meters isn't like a lot. It's
Well, I just wonder why we have so many different classifications.
well, there's some gonna be commercial, some are gonna be, industrial. So, that's why. And who knows what they put out. The guy, when I was talking to the guy from Eaton, he said they may have put some of these meters out because that's what they had at the time,
Oh, you mean they just, because that's what they had on hand, they just stuck it in?
Yeah, some of these that he looks at, he said they could probably go to just residential because their meters aren't that, it doesn't matter. That's a smart meter. So it's not 3 phase, 480
Like the
volts.
CL20, where it says 120 to 480 volts,
Yeah.
that's a smart meter, as opposed to just a 120 volt. meter.
Right, exactly. You can see on the right where it says assume, yeah. It can go either way, all the way
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so they can take on, some of the meters that are commercial probably can just be converted to the residential ones, which will save us a little money. It doesn't add up to a lot because the difference in price between them isn't much when you look at an industrial meter versus the other one. So, I just, doing the email thing, it's, you guys know how it is. It's tough to get email, information back,
Yep,
quick, because we're the little town of Ashland that wants 1,600 meters. They're used to dealing with some of the big guys, so I don't get things back on a timely fashion. But I would say it would be best to let me gather some information, and when I get the spreadsheet completed, maybe it's better to notify you guys that it's completed and we
and give us a day.
and give you a notice and say, hey, when's the next meeting we can do it in? Because right now we can set another meeting and I may be waiting for Vespa to get back, but
Yeah,
I think Vespa, the big thing with Vespa is they can interpret the data. The question is, if we go with Eaton, who interprets the data? I guess we could give Vespa access to our cloud. And they could look at our data for us. I don't know if they would, where it's, an Eaton platform. The Vespa says they're not in it to make any money. They're in it to help us. Both of them had said they would come down or meet. They would come down in person or meet virtually and go over some of the key points, not the whole presentation, unless you wanted them to explain in more detail what, now that you guys have some information, you could better answer questions that you couldn't answer before. When they spring that stuff on you, you don't know, it doesn't come to you right away, but both of them have said they would come out or do a virtual meeting. The reoccurring cost, like I said, is cheaper with Vespa. 16 versus 20, 16,000 versus 20. If we hosted it on site, without using the cloud, say we had our own server, it wouldn't cost us anything more because we'd have our own server, but you'd have to pay an IT guy to manage that computer. And I'm sure Eli, you have a computer like that, they're usually a little more robust than a regular laptop. They got, fans on them because they're always working, they're keeping cool, and
yeah.
You have to maintain them a little bit more than a normal computer.
Well, we've got one in the town office.
Right, so we could host it, but we'd have to hire somebody to keep it running for us. And it would only cost would be the the IS&T guy that you hired.
We have to have somebody to run the software.
Yep, manage it on a weekly, monthly, if you have problems.
Yep.
When it's on the cloud, they fix everything for you.
Or at least they say they will.
Right. So that's about all I got. I know Catherine got some information about rates. I think you got that, Eli, right? I don't know if
I
the rest.
believe I did. I will. Oh, come on. Try to figure out where I stuck it.
You sent it over the weekend.
There was one I just saw this morning.
Well, the rate analysis came back from Vespa.
Yeah. It's always fun to try to remember what they called it. Okay, let's go back to my email. Oh, that's timesheets. You don't want to know about that.
Is it the email that says meter survey?
I'm not sure. I didn't get it, so.
Oh, okay. No, that's from you. You think it should be from Catherine?
It would be from finance, yeah.
There was one from,
Hmm. I don't see anything from Catherine.
well, just a minute. Okay. Here's one of what I found.
Okay. Did you, I don't remember getting this. But
Well, there's the rates. I will make sure that I send these out.
okay, good.
Well, sometimes if I don't send it, I thought maybe it was sent to everybody.
Yeah.
I will send these out and I'll forward these on to you.
Thank you. I think we have an awful lot to review before we can make a decision.
Well,
Eli, is that the one that stated what a 1 cent increase would bring in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good news. I don't know if everybody saw that.
I will get this sent out after I log off.
So I don't know the exact number. I think it was, wasn't it over 150?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to send it to everybody. Okay, don't keep jumping up and down. God, I hate this program.
So anyway, I mean, I think something on you guys, while Eli's looking for that, I'll just talk a little bit. I think we ought to set a public hearing maybe in the future. I think we gotta give people, but I think we ought to start thinking about what we can do to increase the rates, a penny or 2 pennies or 3 pennies. I know we have to hold a public meeting on it, a hearing. And I don't know does anybody remember how much of a notice people need to get before we do that? Is it just a couple days or is it not?
No, I think it's a week or
A
two.
week at least.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought it was more. Yeah, I thought it was longer. So anyway, I think, look at that sheet that Eli sent and, it's a chance for us to put some money in the bank. I have some proposals from Eaton to fix the transformer. Rob's actually looking through them and letting me know what we should do and piecemeal. And I'll get that out to you guys so we can, so you guys can sign it. It'll be another purchase order, but like I said to you guys last week, it looks like it might be low on oil, the transformer, but the next step is to actually come out, take the panels off that big transformer, get into it. And that's not just, they have to actually unscrew it and see the actual oil level and fill it up. And there's a lot to it. And there was a lot of other things that he sent to get us back on track, but I asked our resident expert to go over that for me on my behalf, to let me know exactly what we need to do and does it have to be all at once? And that resident the expert is Rob. So and once I get that, I'll forward that up to you guys and I'll keep you guys aware of what's going on with we still have one broken transformer that we hope now it's leading towards low oil. And if you think about inside there's some bars in there that have to be covered with this oil. And he's thinking that at the time it was cold and the oil shrank just enough to expose one of those energized bars and it got hot. So the oil's in there to keep it cool. So hopefully that's where we are right now with that, but look for more information on that too from Eaton on the repair side of things. But raising the rates will, we can certainly, if we raise them just a penny or 2 cents, 3 cents, we'll get up there probably like, where Wolfboro is, and there's probably a reason why their rates are at 14 cents for the first 100 well, it's either the first 100 or 500 kilowatts. But anyway, it's something to look at. I don't know, should we set a meeting date to raise rates to get the ball rolling, or you guys want to hold on?
I feel that we should take a look at the information we have. I'd like to have the most information we can get before we make a decision on this. Then we can go and have a public hearing to the rate payers.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody else have a comment on this?
No, we have a lot to information that we need to review and analyze before we make the numerous decisions that have to be made in a short amount of time.
Yep.
So Eli, I got just a question for the board. This goes back to the metering. When I get all the information from Vermont Power, FEPSA, I got everything from Eaton right now. I'm just waiting for them. Is that something you guys want them to do a Zoom call with, so you can ask them directly some questions, each vendor, or?
I would think that after we review their material, we'll
Yeah.
want to talk to each one of them.
Okay, so I'll let them know that, maybe prepare something for you, and before we make a final decision,
Yeah,
they'll have an opportunity to come talk to the board directly. Does that sound good to everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Yes,
All right, so I'll do that. I'll let them know. Once I get that from Vesper, I'll schedule something with everybody and with your timeline, and I'll let them know, and you guys will have a chance to ask them questions directly. So everybody is on the same page.
thank you, Craig.
yes.
And that's all I got. Anybody got any questions about what's going on? that
You
we're
can
doing?
always fill us in on what's been happening since last we spoke.
You want me to fill you? Well, since we spoke last, that we haven't, did I tell you about the testing of the relays, right? I think
Yes.
that went fine. The 6 relays, they tested everything, or 3 relays, I think. Everything was fine with the relays. So right now with Ashland Electric, since the last time we met, everything's the same. I have 2 guys, one's deployed for the COVID pandemic, and then the other, one of them's not Kyle, but Jacob Yetton. So
Yeah.
he's the only one with me so far. I did talk with Rusty, in between my guys, and I'm gonna send Dan Titus out with reading meters, the first of the month. Rusty's gonna help us with his guys. Between all of us, we'll struggle through the meter reads. See if we can get that done. I'm not promising anything, but because we've never done that kind of stuff. So, but we should be able to get through it, I hope. But it's scheduled. We got a plan. We're gonna try to make it happen.
Okay,
So that's about all I got. If anybody has anything to question or anything.
anybody have any questions for Craig? Or comments?
I'll just say thank you for your efforts, Craig.
Amen.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes.
Okay. And Barney is here to talk to us today. We have a campground issue.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, in one of the storms that we had, probably, I think it was 3 weeks ago, we had a limb come down and hit a camper. There was substantial damage to it. I went over and met with the campers, and they sent me an email telling me what the damage amount was. They were trying to get their insurance company in. Their insurance company, with camper insurance, you usually have to take the camper off the site and bring it to wherever to be serviced. So he had asked permission to take it out early, just because he knows that we have snowmobile trail there and stuff. And I told him if he could get it out safely, by all means, because he wants to try and get it fixed before camping season starts in May. But since then, I have called tree people again to have them come over. And so far, I have had Hickson's come over. Casey Hickson went through and took a look at everything last week. And he is coming up with he said there's some that need to be like pruned back. There's some limbs that over the campers that just because of the type of tree and because they're so high that they could cause a problem. And all of the tree people that I have talked to basically have said there's no guarantee with a tree. If there's a big enough storm, big enough wind, heavy enough snow, any tree or limb could fall. But what they suggested is we keep on top of it, just like the people that we had come 2 years ago. You know, every 2 to 5 years, bring somebody in, have them go through and look at it. So Casey is going to write something up for me to, you know, he talked to me over the phone and put different color tape for the ones that he wants to remove or cut back. And then I met with chippers, who are the people that did the work last time we had it done. And I met with them actually this morning, and he was going to go through and do the same thing. He's like, I don't go by what anybody else had already put on the tree, the tape or anything, because he likes to do his own. It's his business, and he sees different things, which is fine. We want different eyes to see different things. And Donovan Tree Company is hopefully going to be able to open something up. We were going to do it, but snow came down. So hopefully later in the week, they'll be able to get up there. So I just wanted to keep you guys all in the loop of what's going on. I don't have any prices or anything yet, just in the works to make sure that it can be done before the season comes up.
Has this been turned over to Primex? Do you know, Ann?
No, they have not sent me. They sent me an email saying this is the amount. I asked them to send me like pictures and, you know, what their insurance company or whatever, the place that's going to fix them have given them. And I haven't got that stuff back from them yet.
So as far as you know, Charlie hasn't sent it over to Primex.
Correct. Well, we don't have anything from the campers even. Like, I mean, when I got an email, I sent it right out to you the same day.
Is Primex aware that there's been an accident?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Hey, Ann,
Yes.
this is Catherine Davis.
Yep.
We usually have a time. I usually report accidents like this to Primex since I've been on board, and we do have a time frame for when we're supposed to report this type of stuff for our insurance.
Mm-hmm.
When did this occur?
I'll have to go back and look. I know it was while I was quarantined, so I think 3 weeks ago.
So it's been at least a couple of weeks. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I can send you over a copy of the blank form that I'll have to fill out, just so you know the information that we need to submit to Primex.
Okay. Charlie was aware of it, but I think he felt that because we make it mandatory for all the people, all the sites to have their own insurance, and that because the people we had come in and do trees, that it wasn't our fault. And he said that we didn't need to. I mean, the other people have said they have talked to their insurance. I'm not sure what we need. If you need me to do that, I'm more than happy to do that.
Well, I do think that it would be wise to talk to Primex. Just, if nothing more, than to inform them that something has happened.
Okay.
Is
I
that
agree.
right?
Give us a phone call to say, this is what happened. Should we submit a claim or not?
Yeah.
Okay. I can definitely do that.
And I can send you our contact info, Ann, if you don't have it for Primex.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. If you can email it to me.
Yep, I can do that. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update, Ann.
Welcome.
So is the camper still on site?
It is. I was up there this morning and When I met them right after it happened, they went and got tarps to put over it. So no further damage would happen because of the weather and stuff. So it was still there when I went through.
Did you take any pictures, Ann?
I did not. It's up top. I couldn't. He showed me some pictures and I asked him to send them to me
Okay,
because it was like it came down and
Yeah.
kind of like speared it,
Mm,
like a
okay,
big branch up high, not like a whole tree crushed it.
okay,
And he climbed up and took the pictures, so he said he would send them to me.
that's good. Thank you. Any other questions for Ann? Well, thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
This morning I sent the board, the police chief and the fire chief a copy of a note to Mr. Collingswood at PSU. And he reached out and called me this late morning. He will be looking into the sightings that we've had. There are active cases of COVID there. They are in isolation. Apparently, quarantine doesn't mean that students who are quarantined have to stay inside the building. They've been allowed to go out into their parking lot, the Quality Inn's parking lot, and apparently been able to go down to Irving. But Mr. Collingswood is going to look into it. He did say that Chief Temporino was keeping people abreast of things, and I did say that neither our fire chief or our police chief had been contacted recently. Mr. Collingswood has asked to have a spot on our next Board of Selectmen's Zoom meeting to further, if there are any updates.
Thank you for following up on that, Eli.
Well, it only took me about 3 revisions to get to the email you saw.
Does Chief Ulwick have anything to share with us about this?
I'm having some connection issues, but I'll do my best. Let me know if this cuts out on you. I've been in contact with Chief Temporino here and there, not primarily about the activity going on there. It was brought up to him the last time I met with him, and I'm not sure what the hesitation is, but there's been a little bit of, we've kind of taken a step backwards in terms of our communication that we're receiving from them. They were keeping us pretty well abreast of things last semester, and now we're getting little to nothing. Last semester, they agreed that it was a school policy violation if the kids were to leave the hotel. And when I brought it up to him again about how they're going out and being seen around, hold on a second. When I talked to him about how they've been seen out, he basically told me that there's no law keeping them in unless they're in isolation and the quarantine kids can go out. I reiterated about how last semester, they did it as a school policy and there wasn't much of a reaction to that. They're having issues with, the Common Man Commons is having issues with students parking and visitors parking over there. They have, PSU is setting up a detail starting tonight at 8 that goes until 4 in the morning, running through Sunday, for some activity that's been occurring over there. And so we'll have some extra hands over in the area on the nights, on the overnights in the, for this coming week. But we're not getting the same information that we were last semester. And we're not, to be honest, we're not really getting a whole lot of information, but I'm not sure why the change is from last semester to this semester. So it's still pretty much a work in progress.
It's very disappointing. It's why it might have been a better, maybe it could have been handled better if they kept the students within the Plymouth community, so they would have had better oversight. But
Well, I know that the college has taken over one of the hotels in Plymouth also. I don't know, I assume it's a money thing or availability as to why they didn't go with more hotels specifically in Plymouth, so it was a little bit smoother. I'm assuming they came down to Ashland because the deal was able to be worked out relatively quickly. And I imagine the cost had something to do with it, but I don't have intimate knowledge.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Chief Ulwick?
Thanks for the update, Chief.
Can I just, Plymouth State did have a Zoom meeting that was posted that you could go to. I went to and watched it. And it is recorded. If you can go to Plymouth State, they have it there where they brought specialists in and they were talking about where they were keeping kids, when they were gonna have them go home and different things like that. So they do have it posted. If you can't get a hold of somebody to talk to, you might be able to go to the website and rewatch that.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say today?
It's been brought to our attention, there seems to be some activity in the town office after business hours, and I'm not comfortable with that. We should be able to get our town business done during the business day. None of the select board members have keys to access the building. I don't know how many other people do, but
I'm
not comfortable that there are people who are coming into the building at nighttime to do what I don't know.
Kathleen, I think this is an item that we should talk with the chief.
I'm just putting it out there because I'm not sure if rest of the board have read the emails. I'm not mentioning any names. I'm just saying that since we have the oversight of town property, that if the board agrees that business should be conducted between certain hours, that would be our prerogative. If there's anything else to be discussed, then of course, yes, we would have to entertain a non-public.
I read the email. I think we should discuss it in non-public.
Can I just say something? I come from working at the school and then come to the after-school program until 5. or after. So I do go up there at night to do different things with the campground and stuff. I've done it since I've worked here, because that's the time I have available. And I'm surprised that the select board don't have keys.
Well, there was a decision made when Mr. Smith became town manager that he wanted to cut down on the number of keys that were out, and we went along with it.
Okay, that's fine, but honestly, I have a key, and that's when I usually go in to do different things.
Yeah.
You know, make copies and stuff, because I don't want to leave everybody down here with the kids without me.
I understand.
I think the issue is more than that, based on the email that I read, and I don't
Yeah.
think we should be discussing it in public.
That's why I brought it up, Fran, just to broach the topic. And I was being cautious not to go into sensitive area. And I feel we should have a non-public. I'll make a motion that we have a non-public if this is the end of our meeting, to discuss this.
346.
I'll second that motion.
Wolf. Van Newton, do you have the citation for 91A?
No.
Letter C. This would be under 91A. Three C.
I'm waiting for this to boot up so I can tell you.
Just a minute, I'll check. The citation we want is 91A 3C.
I'll make the motion.
And there's been a second by Fran Newton. Any further discussion? Roll call. Alan Silly,
Aye.
Kathleen DeWolf,
Aye.
Fran Newton,
Aye.
Andy Fitch.
Aye.
The board came out of non-public session at 4:07 with no decisions being made. Is there any further business for the board? Yes, Alan.
He's on mute.
I'm sorry.
He likes talking.
I have a couple, Eli. Thank you.
Okay,
Franklin Savings Bank being one.
okay. I do have an update on that.
Okay, thank you. I'll let you go with it.
I do have an update. Linda Guyette has found out that we are not going to be paying any fees for the next year in our Franklin Savings account for the utilities.
Can she share that paperwork with us? We should have that type of thing on file.
She has already been asked.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
What's your next one?
Well, the reason that I brought this up, just for a little bit of clarification here, is this was something that Charlie was supposed to handle 2.5, 3 months ago.
Well,
And now landed in our lap, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but the time frame to move this forward was getting, in my mind, a little critical.
it was coming down to March 1st.
Yes.
Well, you know more than me. I never saw or heard anything about this until what, last week? So,
Most of us, Charlie has said something about going with credit cards.
yes,
Okay, credit card payments. And
but that's all he said. He didn't go into any detail other than
He-
floating that idea, yeah.
he
And
was,
I'm doing this because that's about all I heard.
he talked about AbleSoft doing a website. It would, for payments of the electric department. We are going sooner or later. Our utilities may want to consider taking credit cards. They don't at this time.
We have an awful lot on our plate with AED before we embark on this course of action.
Okay,
We can keep it on the to-do list,
it should be on our to-do list.
but there's a
Oh.
few things before we go down that road.
This is not an imperative issue.
Hmm.
It is not one that not everyone is clamoring for.
Hmm.
It is something that the town office does.
But yeah, there's fees involved and it's
There are
educating
fees
people.
that use it.
Yeah.
And that things could be set up, but I tend to agree until we get a few other things stabilized, that this is something that is down the pike.
It's right now, it's almost like, and I know I can see Alan's gonna cringe. I'm waiting.
Oh,
The
Alan,
list. We
Alan,
need,
you've got to play to her.
yes,
So cringe.
the list that we probably should, for the time being, have a running list of an action list, or whatever you want to call it. Fran, what did it used to be called?
Oh, we called it a project list.
My wife calls it a to-do list.
Well, I call it the to-do list because it's very easy as you get more and more things come before you, that something falls through the crack. And then
Yep.
it's like, oh my gosh, just a running list of things that need to be kept. We need to be kept aware of.
We need a
Now-
project list once
Yes,
again.
not, maybe we could have a rank list, but maybe, maybe not. We do not
Well,
have to
they told-
repeat it at every meeting, Mr. Silly. Because
As I told Charlie, he needed to give us a Gantt list,
yeah,
a Gantt chart.
yeah. Because, something like this, we might forget about it and we're working on something and we go, oh, this is the best. Well, now we can integrate it. We can do maybe two things at once, or we can get another department in. But I wasn't keeping a list because that was our town manager's job. And more than a few things got by us, or
Okay.
I guess I'll leave it at putting it that way,
Okay.
but
Now, I did send you this morning a request from Superintendent Cross for a signature on a reimbursement from Northern, our
Yeah.
Northern Borders grant. He would like to see if it could get signed.
well, can Catherine send us that electronically?
Well, what I'm asking is if I can sign it tomorrow and get it to Rusty in the morning.
Oh, okay, he doesn't, you don't need 3 signatures?
I think
I
I'm
don't,
happy with you signing it, Eli.
if I have your, see, if I have your permission, I can do it. If I don't have your permission, it requires at least 3 of you showing up.
Mhm.
Um, So I'm asking if I can get it signed and get it off our table.
Got my permission.
You may.
Yep.
Do it.
The other reason to keep a list, whoever comes to sit in that office, the corner office, they're gonna need to have some idea what we've been doing for the past few weeks and what we have coming up in the very near future. That's another reason why we need to track
Absolutely.
our decisions and activities.
Yep. And just for another point of information, the other day I got saddled with finishing off the town report. I have had help from Catherine and I've had help from Patsy, and I will be finishing up getting the last pieces into the report to be sent off tomorrow.
Okay, what
And-
was missing?
One, some of the financial information.
Okay,
I hope to get it down from the financial information from 70 pages down to about 20.
yeah, is this what we're required by statute to have in
Yeah.
our town report?
If you remember, before Mr. Smith left, he did not want to include the accountant's what we did wrong letter.
Fire.
So if that, so with your permission, I won't, we agreed to it then. But I'd like to go with that decision. I'd like to continue with that decision.
Yes,
We have discussed it in public.
yeah,
Okay, is,
I will give my approval to facilitate that process.
how did the rest of the board feel about it?
Sounds good to me.
And
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay, I'll take care of it and it will go out tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Anything else?
you,
yes,
He's got his finger up again.
yeah,
I said 2.
Okay.
This issue, I'm somewhat reluctant to bring up, but it's been talked about before, but never put on the agenda. And I'm doing it because I told a few people that I would. And this has to do with the issue of what not only myself, but other people consider the town hall being a hostile workplace.
If we're gonna talk about.
I know, but I have to bring it up. That's the only way I can approach it.
Then we go back into non-public.
I make a motion to do so.
Motion to go into non-public at 4:19. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Fran Newton seconds. And it's 91A 3C. It is 4:19.
roll call.
Roll call.
I can't.
What, does Andy have to leave?
No, I'm all set.
Oh,
Alan Silly,
Aye.
Kathleen DeWolf,
aye,
Andy Fitch,
Aye.
Fran Newton.
Aye.
We've come out of our second non-public section at 4:46. No decisions have been made during this discussion. I'll accept a motion
To adjourn?
to adjourn.
Okay, you got it.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye.